Are you looking for that magic little phrase that will help each and every presentation you ever give? Well, here it is. For example. That's right. Just say for example and then give an example. You will actually see heads come up and eyes come up because people are trying to understand what you're talking about. They're trying to visualize it. Once you give an example, it's easier for people to see it in their own mind's eye. So don't just say there was dangerous wildlife outside. Say there was a grizzly bear tearing away at my tent. Be specific. Now, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as that. But keep this in mind. Abstraction is your enemy as a public speaker. It's not because your audience is dumb. I don't care if every single person in your audience is a 200 IQ and a PhD from Harvard and Oxford. Human beings do not remember abstractions when they're simply hearing them in a speech. They remember really, really specific examples. I've never yet, in all of my years of asking people what they didn't like about presentations and speeches, I've never seen anyone coming out of a convention hall saying, wow, I hated the way that speaker gave so many interesting and relevant examples in his speech or her speech. It's never happened. Now, I often hear people say, well, that was a real snooze. I should have stayed home and just read an email. Or, thank goodness I was near the back so I could catch up on my email the whole time. That's what I hear. So here's what I need you to do. Look at every single important point you have and make sure you have a specific example for every single point. Ronald Reagan was known as the great communicator, and most Americans and many around the world would say, even if they liked or didn't like his politics, would admit and concede he was a great speaker. Well, Ronald Reagan had a rule with his speechwriters. He would say to them, I don't ever want to talk for more than 2 minutes without talking about a real person with a real problem. He knew the power of example. And that's what you need to build into your own presentation as well. Now, if you're saying, well, TJ, this is just a technical speech, I don't have any example. If there's no example, maybe it wasn't an important point in the first place. If you can't think of a single example where this issue was a problem, where a real client, a customer, a colleague, a fellow executive wanted to talk to you about this, maybe it's not an important point after all. So when you're coming up with your speech outline, your structure, whatever it is, make sure you have lots and lots of examples that are relevant and flesh out these key messages so that people can't forget them even if they tried.